Very good evening to all of you. Am I clearly audible? Please respond through the chat window if I'm audible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
All right. So what we will do is throughout the session, please let's prefer to use the chat window, because otherwise we'll have a lot of disturbance in the class, right? So I will let you guys know when you can all unmute and speak and ask for your queries, but we'll prefer to use the chat window till the time I'm explaining something and I'm taking up questions or something like that. Will that work? You all can see the chat window, right, wherein you can write. All right. So if in case you want to ask something and you think that it is going to be difficult to write it in the chat window, it will be preferable for you to ask it by speaking. Then definitely you can put the request in the chat window, and then we can unmute that particular person. Right? Okay. So let's go ahead with the session. Okay, so what we're going to discuss today in this session is that what are the basic shortcuts for commercial math and arithmetic. Now, this is one topic which is very important for CAT point of view. And second thing, which is very important in this topic, is it has a lot of shortcuts. So if you're aware of the right kind of shortcut, then actually this topic is completely in your hands, right? So this is one topic which you can definitely count on for yourself, that you will be able to attempt these questions provided the right kind of shortcut is available to you. So that is what I'm going to do in today's session, that is discuss some of the shortcuts with you and then guide you accordingly. So what we'll do is I'll present you with a question, and the moment you have an answer to the question, please write it in the chat window. And then once the answers are obtained, and suppose I explain it for all others who have not been able to solve, then I'll permit all of you to speak if you have any query, right? So I'll just ask you guys, whosoever wants to speak would mention it in the chat window. So that's how we will take up the session. So here comes the first question, and I'm not discussing all the shortcuts in one go. So each and every question will have a typical shortcut associated with it. So first of all, what is commercial math all about and what is arithmetic? See, this is one topic which is explained with the help of this particular symbol. It has everything to do with percentages. So the first shortcut that you need to be really aware of is the fact that you need to be very good at percentages. And what do I mean by very good at percentages is what is explained here in the next chat window. That is, you need to be very much aware of what is the conversion of a percentage to a fraction, from a fraction to a decimal. Now, you must be thinking, this you would have done way back in junior classes in school, right? So why am I talking about it again? It's because, it comes very handy with the information. Something like what is displayed on the screen right now is something that you keep using in your day-to-day life. When you say that I have used 50% of the, say, chocolate that was lying in my fridge, I basically mean that I have eaten half of my chocolate. Or in decimal way, I can say that I have eaten 0.5 of the chocolate, right? So it all means exactly the same thing. But yes, it's very important to be aware of other percentages conversions to fractions also. For example, now I'm asking you a question. You will have to answer it in the chat window. What is 75% equal to as a fraction? So working with 75% can get very difficult for us. But suppose if I know it's complete fraction, that's correct. So you all are aware of that, right? So if you all are aware of what, yeah, that's correct. 3/4 is the right answer, right? So good to know that you all are aware of that. So when you talk about 75% as a percentage, its conversion to fraction is nothing but 3/4. That's correct. Similarly, 25%. What is 25% equal to as a fraction? Please write it in the chart window. 1 by 4. That's correct. All right. Now, if I talk about something like 33.33%, this is something that you come across a lot of times, 1 by 3. That's perfect. So you all are aware of what I'm talking about. You need to be very good at these percentages and fractions. I have just named the ones which are very commonly used by you, otherwise also in day-to-day life. But there is a huge list of such percentages to fractions which you need to learn. So that list we do provide to our students, which will be like very comprehensive to handle all percentage questions. And please remember, percentage is one topic which is not just restricted to CAT quant portion, it is also for CAT DI portion, because a lot of pure DI questions, the information given there deals with percentage. So this topic is really, really important for you, conversion from percentage to fraction and vice versa. All right. Now, another thing which is very important for this topic is the increase and decrease, right? So suppose, let me just make you guys unmute now. So you all can unmute yourself, right? So whosoever I'm going to ask would answer it. So Manan, would you like to answer this question? If I say that your salary has been increased by 1 by 3, all right, Manan, your salary has been increased by 1 by 3. What can you tell me about your salary as related to, okay, only Manan is supposed to answer it, Abhinav, just wait. Right, so if your salary has increased by 1 by 3, then what is your new salary in comparison to the old one? Manan, you can unmute and speak if you want, or if you prefer to write it in the chat window, that will also do. Tell me. Manan, that's a question for you. Manan, are you there? Okay, Abhinav has done the job for you anyways. So yes, Abhinav, you're right. If something increases by 1 by 3, it becomes 4/3 of what it was. Where does it come from? It comes from a very basic knowledge of fractions that you have done in school, is that when you're talking about fractions, the total is always taken as 1, right? So if you are increasing something by 1 by 3, the total salary, the original salary will always be called as 1. You have added 1 by 3 to it. So what is 1 plus 1 by 3? It will indicate that now your salary has become 4/3 of what it was, right? Similar replica, if I say that your salary has been decreased by 1 by 3, what will happen? Your original salary will be considered as 1. That's correct, Preeti. So it will be now considered as 1 minus 1 by 3, which will be 2/3 of the original salary. So this also we need to be very comfortable with. That is, it is based on a concept that a fraction's total is always considered as 1, right? If an increase is happening, it is added to 1. If it's a decrease that's happening, it is subtracted from 1. That's another shortcut that will help you in solving a lot of questions, right? So once this shortcut has been discussed, now I'm sure that you will be in a comfortable position to solve the questions that I'm going to present, right? So obviously try to solve the question in the minimum possible effort using the shortcuts. All right, Harshita, you wanted to say something? Or was it by
No,
mistake?
ma'am.
Okay, right. Please solve this question. And the moment you have an answer, you can come up with the answer either in the chat window or you can speak it up. All right, so I can see a range of answers, 60%, 65%. All right, so there are two ranges of answers that I can see. Some of you are answering it as 60% and some of you are answering it as 65%. Let's see which is the correct answer. Harshita, I think there is some problem at your end. So please mute yourself.
Ma'am, I was already muted.
Okay. I don't know. I'm just getting some voices from there, and it's just indicating it's from you. Anyways, right. So, yeah, the number of girls appearing for an admission test is twice the number of boys, right? Now, the moment you see such a question, don't ever try to solve the question by saying that girls are G or X and boys are Y or B, whatever. Always try to take a shortcut. And the shortcut is that you should always try to solve such questions using 100. Why? Because, as I told you guys, that for a fraction, the totality is always 1. Similarly, for a percentage, the totality is always 100, right? So rather than bringing two variables like B and G or X and Y into picture and complicate your question, what you will say is that the number of girls appearing for an admission test is twice the number of boys. So let's assume that boys are 100 who are appearing and girls are 200 who are appearing for the test, right? Because the moment you are working in the question with percentages, it doesn't really matter whether you take them as proper variables X and Y or you call them as 100 to 100, it will not matter at all, right? So the shortcut just lies in this knowledge. That is, I will consider boys to be 100 who are appearing and girls to be 200. Now, the question said that 30% of the girls have been able to get the admission and 45% of the boys have been able to get the admission. You can never swap them or mix them or take it together. Don't ever do such mistakes. 30% of the girls have been able to get the admission, and the question is asking for who have not got the admission. So, obviously, 30% have got the admission, that 70% have not got the admission. Now, what is 70% of 200 going to be? Obviously, it is 140 girls who have not been able to get the admission. Similarly, coming down to boys, 45% of the boys have got the admission. So, if they have got the admission, how many of them have not got the admission? 55% have not got the admission. And what is 55% of 100? It is 55 boys. All right. Now, 55 boys and 140 girls makes a total of 195 out of a total of 300, right? So this is the one way of solving this question, which clearly tells me that the answer is not 60, the answer is 65. Is everyone clear? Is that clear to all of you why the answer is 65%? Right? So this answer comes out to be 65%. All right, let's proceed ahead. Anyone wants to ask anything? I'm giving you a chance to unmute right now if you want to ask. Otherwise, I'll move to the next question. All right, let's proceed ahead then. Now, what I always suggest my students is that, whenever you're doing a question, it's very, very important to have a note of what you have learned from this question. Now, what have you learned from this question is that never try to complicate your questions by bringing in too many variables when you can manage your question by taking just 100. Why? Because it will make your question extremely simple to handle. So the learning from this question is be very comfortable with percentages. Try to avoid using X as a variable whenever you can handle a question using 100. All right. Be very careful about the fact that if you are using 100 in your question, the entire question's language should be having all numerical values in percentages. Only then you can do that. Otherwise, if there is even one single value which is not given in percentages, you will have to handle it separately, because then such questions will come in the advanced level if you take up a course with us. So therein we take up those advanced questions where there is a mix of percentages and absolute values. Even then, we can work with 100. All right. So that's the learning. Keep it in your mind. The first shortcut is avoid using X when you can use 100. In fact, a small tip is, if you have, since today's lecture is for commercial math, but if you have done allegation mixture, that could have also been applied to the previous question. Okay. Anyways, let's proceed to the next one. So the next one is based on a second kind of a shortcut. Okay, so Abhinav's answer is 10. Very good, Abhinav. Your answer is correct. Anyone else has got the answer? Now, what is the shortcut on which this question is based? It is based on a very simple formula which says that whenever you see such a question called as per capita production, you should be aware of the fact that these kind of questions fall under one particular category, which say that we are talking about three physical quantities, out of which the product of two of them is equal to the third one. So here in this question, you have talked about the total production, you have talked about the population, and you have talked about per capita, right? And these three physical quantities do have that kind of a relation which I just mentioned, that is the product of two of them is equal to the third one. And what is that? Obviously, population multiplied by per capita is always equal to the total production. It's not that much of an economics term. It is a very commonly used term in your day-to-day life also. So for example, you have 100 candies with you, right? And you are distributing it to say 10 kids. So obviously each kid will get 10 candies each. So that's what is called as per capita. Per capita means per person, right? So obviously if everyone is getting 10 candies each, what you can notice is the product of these two is equal to this, right? So that's what this question is using. Now, whenever you see such a thing happening, I'm not saying it is only restricted to this kind of a question. It's a shortcut which is broadly applied to any three physical quantities such that the product of two of them is equal to the third one. Now, before we start solving this question, let me just take you to the next slide and show it in the form of what we have learned here is population has something to do with per capita, right? And the relation that we have just found out here is that population when multiplied with per capita, so the product of these two is equal to the total production that your country came up with, obviously after these four. Now, obviously, example where this is applied, we could tell you, will not be just applicable for this particular situation. Any three physical quantities which do have this kind of a situation, wherein two physical quantities multiply to give the third one. Can you tell me another situation where you can have this? Any one situation, anyone. Diptesh, would you like to answer it? Abhinav, any one of you can unmute and tell me. Diptesh, would you like to answer it? Can you tell me another situation where you will see this happening? Okay, income expenditure, again, a financial situation. I'm talking about something other than financial situation. Income, consumption, they all are, closely related. I want another example.
Literacy rate.
Right, I couldn't get it. What did you say?
Literacy rate.
Literacy rate. Right. And in any other topic that you normally study in? Yeah, very good, Ishita. That's what I was waiting for. A topic that you normally do prepare in CAT is time, speed, distance, right? And a lot of your TSD questions solve on this particular shortcut. Why? Because we all are aware of the fact that definitely Diptesh, right? So Ishita, what you mentioned is exactly what I was wanting to listen to. That is distance is equal to speed into time. So the shortcut could be applicable to TSD questions also. Now, what is the shortcut? The shortcut says that we are basically focusing on two physical quantities whose product is equal to the third one. So it could be production, which is equal to the situation of having per capita multiplied by population. Another one that you guys mentioned somewhere was the price multiplied by quantity gives me revenue, or it could be expenditure, definitely, yeah. So a lot of situations, right? Now, what is the formula? The formula says that these three physical quantities will have their percentage changes, right? I'm not saying I'm taking these physical quantities. I'm talking about their percentage changes. So let's suppose this one had a percentage change of small p, this one had a percentage change of small q, and this one had a percentage change of small r. The relation that these three will follow will always be equal to p plus q plus pq by 100 equal to r. That is the shortcut, which is very much applicable to all those questions where you will see such a thing happening. All right. So percentage change of the first one, percentage change of the second one, the product of their percentage changes divided by 100 should be equal to the percentage change of the right hand side. Now, when I'm saying percentage change, sign matters a lot, right? So if it is a percentage increase, I will take it as positive. If it is a percentage decrease, I will have to take it as negative while using this formula. And the answer can also come out to be positive or negative. If the answer comes out to be positive, whichever you are looking for. So obviously your question will give you two of these values and will ask you the third one. So suppose what is asked in the question, it will by itself come with its proper sign. So if the answer comes out to be positive, it indicates increase. If it comes out to be negative, it indicates decrease. Now let's go back to the question. The question will make use of this shortcut that we just discussed. So the question was, the production of food grains increased by 40%. So production has increased by 40%. Per capita increased by 27%. The population will increase by what is being asked in the question. So population is question mark. Now what do I realize is that population multiplied by per capita is equal to the total production. I'm already given the percentage change of production as plus 40. Per capita is given as plus 27. The question is basically asking for this, right? So let's call it as X for our question. Now the formula says that X plus 27 plus 27X divided by 100 should match with 40. That's it. Now you can use a very simple calculation that's happening here and get your answer. So obviously I will have to keep these two here, which is indicating it is 1.27 of X, and these two get paired up together to give me a 13 here. Now here itself, you know your answer already, nearest to. Approximately the question is asking the answer. I know that 1.27 is going to be very, very close to, if I multiply it by 10, 12.7 is very close to 13. So the answer is 10. Everyone clear? So it will be slightly more than 10, but the question said nearest to. So the answer is 10. Any doubts in applying this shortcut to various situations which I discussed? Any doubts, guys? So if you have a doubt, please speak up, unmute yourself. Otherwise, I'll move to the next question. If anyone wants me to clarify something, you can unmute. Otherwise, I'll move to the next question. Okay, let's move to the next one then. So this is what Diptesh had written, right? Diptesh, this is your example. GDP divided by population, right, gives you GDP per capita. Right, now try this question. This is the third category of the question, which falls under a particular shortcut, which we call as changing of situation. You know, there is one situation which is mentioned in the question, then the situation changes for that merchant, and something in that changed situation is being compared with the original situation. So Manisha, definitely, this is just a introductory session wherein I'm just explaining the shortcuts to you guys. It's just a demo session, right? It's not a proper class on a particular topic. So Manisha, what happens is when you join us and take up our online sessions, so obviously it starts with the very basics only. All right, Manisha, this is just to give you a feel of how the classes are handled for you guys, and just to give you an introduction of what basic shortcuts are there. But all these shortcuts are very much discussed in the classes in detail. So when you definitely join us, Manisha, then you will have percentage calculations as the first class itself. So wherein you will be told why 50% is equal to 1/2. That basic we will start with. So don't worry about that. You will definitely be told right from the basics. All right.
Okay, ma'am.
Right,
Okay.
right, Manisha. Okay, so Aditya has given the answer as third option. Diptesh has also given the same answer. Anyone else would like to answer it? Right, so the shortcut for such a question again belongs to the fact that why complicate our situation bringing a variable into picture when I can see that all the values are given in percentages, right? So what I'll do is I'll start with 100. Now, you know that this is a question that is coming from profit and loss. It's very important for you to know that in profit loss questions, what is your base when these percentages are applied? You know, percentage is always applied on something. That something is called as the base, and that base is always the cost price. So the shortcut for percentages when applied on profit loss completely lies on the fact that I try to take my cost price as 100 and start solving the question. All right. So that is the shortcut on which this particular question is based on. So I start the question by saying that let's take the original cost price as 100, right? Now a merchant makes a profit of 20%. So if he's making a profit of 20%, that means he's making a profit of 20 rupees. Why? Because 20% of 100 is same as 20. What is his selling price? Selling price is 120 rupees. This is situation number one. Now the question says that the situation is getting changed. What is the change in the situation? What would be the percentage change in the profit? So I will have to find out the profit in this new situation and then discuss the percentage change in these two values, right? So he's talking about profit in this situation, profit in this new situation, and then finding out the percentage change in these two values, right? Now, the percentage change in the profit, if he had paid 10% less for it, that means the cost price is being reduced by 10%. So percentages says that if something is reduced by 10%, that means now he bought it for 90 rupees. So the new cost price has become 90 for him. Why? Because this has been reduced by 10% in the new situation. Similarly, the customer paid 10% more for it. Now, customer paid 10% more. That means I have to take the reference from selling price now. So selling price has been increased by 10%. So what is the new selling price? New selling price will be 120 increased by 10%. That means 120 added with 12, right? So 120, why? Because 10% of 120 is going to be 12 rupees, right? So Manisha, that's how we explain in the basic classes. So 10% of 120 is going to be 12. So if I add 12 to it, obviously it will become 132. Got it? Now, what is the profit? The profit is always the difference of selling price and cost price, which is obviously 42 rupees, right? The difference of these two numbers is 42. Now, don't forget what the question asked. Question said that these are the two profits in the two situations. What is the percentage change? So I have to tell you that 20 has now become 42. So what is the percentage change that's happening? Now, percentage change, again, done in your basic classes, has a very simple logic. We say, what is the increase in the value? So 20 has become 42. So it has increased by 22. But what was the old value? The original value will be taken as your base. So that is what the question is asking for in percentages. So obviously that answer comes out to be option number 3, as has been correctly answered by Aditya, Diptesh, Abhinav, and I think few more people. Any problem with the shortcut and the solution? Anyone wants me to explain anything? You can definitely unmute yourself if you want to ask anything. Otherwise, I'll move to the next question. Okay, so this is one shortcut that comes from profit loss category, which completely lies on the fact that you must start your question using cost price as 100 so that the entire calculation remains very, very simple for you. Okay, so let me proceed ahead. So the learning for this question was handling percentage increases and decreases. And where were we handling it? We were handling it in this calculation. So here something was getting reduced by 10%. So when something is getting reduced by 10%, I use the fact that 100 has been reduced by 10%. So it has become 90. Here I use the fact that it has increased by 10%. So 120 has increased by 12. So it has become 132. So you need to be very comfortable with these increases and decreases, right? So that's the learning that you take from this question, right? Aditya, please ask what you want to ask.
Ma'am, instead of taking 100, ma'am, couldn't we just simply equate the percentages, like 32% would have been what the customer would have been paying extra and 10% is what the merchant would be receiving less. So net difference was 42%.
So what you are missing out is the base has changed, right? So the only mistake that you are basically doing is that the base has also got changed. The percentage, if it is taken on the same base, remains throughout, and then you can add. All right. So I give you a simple real life example. When you
Okay.
go for shopping and you see a very attractive ad, as in which says that you're getting 50%, you were getting 50% discount, and over and above, you are being given 50% more discount. Does that really mean that you are getting it for free? No, it doesn't. So the mistake that you are doing is you are adding the two percentages, right? Whereas what it means is, if I give you two 50% discounts, please mind it, it will not be that you are getting that item for free. That's how they try to befool a common man, right? So actually, if you go by the proper calculations, something was priced at 100 rupees. You were given a 50% discount, so now you are paying 50 rupees for it. You were again given a 50% discount, so now you're paying 25 rupees for it. And if you try to add up the two percentages thinking that the base was still same, no, it changed, right? Got your mistake? So adding the two percentages can only happen if the base has not got changed. All right, am I clear? Right, okay, let's proceed ahead. Yes, definitely, Dave. So the logic is that I have taken a mix of questions. So what you have asked, Dave, is if a question deals in deal it with fractions, and in fact you have asked a very good question, because this question will tell you that we can always have a mix of percentage and fractions also. So whatever strikes you best, that is why I started my session by saying that you need to be very good at shuffling from percentages to fractions and fractions to percentages, because looking at a question you will have to take a very quick decision. Will it be easier doing it by fractions, or will it be easier doing it by percentages? So like if you go back to the previous question, it was easier to do with percentages because everything was in percentages, and the percentages were very, very simple. The moment you come to this new question, look at the percentage that they have used here: 20% and 14 2 by 7%. So complicated percentage it looks, but if you are aware of what is its fraction equivalent, then you will not fumble in solving this question. So Dave, it's a very important point that you have asked. Definitely we should be using fraction for this particular percentage. So it depends. If the question is easier with percentages, you do it that way. If it is easier with fractions, you prefer that, right? So focus on this. This is a very complicated percentage given in mixed fraction. But as I said, we provide our students with a list of common percentages converted to fractions. And sorry, I cannot get your name because you have logged in with Redmi, but you have given the correct answer. This percentage has a very famous fraction conversion, which is 1 by 7. Right? So you can definitely verify it because obviously you know how to convert a percentage to fraction is dividing the number by 100. So this is what the shortcut of this question lies in. Right, Dave? I think this question itself answers your question. This will be easier done with fraction instead of this complicated percentage. Okay, please give it a try. The hint is already there for you. All right, so Shivangi's answer is 1750. Aditya's answer is 8000. Any more answers, guys? I don't want to tell you guys right now who has given the correct answer, but yes, one of them has given the correct answer. Okay, Sukriti, correct. All right, Dev has answered it exactly the same as what Shivangi has answered, and Sukriti's answer is matching with Aditya's. All right, so two of you have given the correct answer, and the rest two have given the incorrect answer. Okay, Palak goes with 8000. So the majority is for 8000 now. All right, so the correct answer is 8,000 only. Let's see how. A music system sells for rupees X in city A. So now I'm not in a position to avoid X. X is not that big an enemy. So I will have to take it because it is being used in the question now. A dealer goes to city B and bought the TV set at 20% discount. You know, sometimes you do that. So you go to some other city and you try to buy it at a discount, but then obviously you spend something on the travel cost also. So whatever you spend in buying a product, so suppose you are a shopkeeper, you go somewhere, right, and you buy a product. So your travel cost and your purchase cost, everything becomes total together your cost price. Now, when you go to the market and you sell it off because you are a shopkeeper, so when you sell it, the price that at which you are selling it is called your selling price. So for this person, obviously his cost price will include that he got a 20% discount. So obviously, how much did he pay? If you are given a 20% discount, you end up paying 80% of that. So what is 80%? 0.8. As I said, I already warned you guys, you need to be very comfortable with percentage, fraction, decimal. Anytime anything can be used in place of the other one, right? So 20% discount you got on X. So obviously you paid 80% of X. That means you paid 0.8 of X. But you also spent 600 rupees on your transport. So this is your cost price. When you came back to the city, you sold it at rupees X. So selling price is already decided as X. And in this entire transaction, you have made a profit of 14 by 7%, which I said looks very complicated, but it has a very simple fraction conversion, which is 1/7 of. Now, as I said, whenever you're solving questions of profit and loss, please remember, be it percentage or be it fraction conversion, it is always applied on what? It is applied on the cost price. So the profit that you have earned is 1/7 of the cost price. Now, a simple logic that is getting used here is why I was asking you in the beginning of the session was, if I increase your salary by 1/3, right, it becomes 4/3. If I decrease your salary by 1/3, it becomes 2/3. Why? Because here you have added 1 to 1/3. Here you have subtracted 1 by 1/3. Similar situation is happening here. You have been able to make a profit of 1/7. Why? Because you increased your selling price by 1/7 of the cost price. So if you have increased it by 1/7, it has to be what? It has to be 1 plus 1/7, that is 8/7 of the cost price. So forget it now, its role is done. The only equation that I have to focus on in my mind is just this. Is this step clear to everyone? This is the knowledge that I shared with you in the beginning because I knew that I will be using it somewhere in the session. Are you all clear? So why do you end up making a profit of 1/7? Because you increased your selling price from the cost price by 1/7. So increasing means 1 plus 1/7. This pen doesn't look nice. Let me just change the color. Okay, so it has to be 1 plus 1/7, which becomes 8/7. So obviously your selling price has been increased from cost price by 1/7, which clearly means selling price has to be 8/7 of the cost price. Now I'm taking too much time in explaining all this, but please remember, this has to come very handy for you, right? Otherwise the shortcut will not even remain a shortcut for you. So all these shortcuts are really practiced in our online classes so that you get really comfortable with this. Is everyone clear with this? Okay, you didn't understand it. I'm going to explain it again. Don't worry. Let me just start it from scratch. Okay, so please point it out wherever you face a difficulty. So what happened was, you are a shopkeeper. So you go somewhere to buy a product and then you come back and sell that product for rupees X. And in that transaction, you are making a profit of this much, right? So cost price has been told to you as, you got a 20% discount on rupees X. So if you get a 20% discount, that means you end up paying only 80% of X, but you made a travel expense of 600 rupees. Any problem till here? So this I wrote as 0.8X plus 600. Please tell me, any problem with this part? With the cost price part? Raja, please tell me, any problem till here? Okay, then the question said that he comes back to the city and sells it for rupees X. So selling price is equal to X. Got it till here? Now, in that entire transaction, he made a profit of 14/7%, which I said is a very commonly used percentage fraction conversion, which is 1 by 7. Now comes a very important point, that is, he earns a profit of 1 by 7. Why? Because his selling price was more than cost price. By how much? By 1/7 of the cost price. So selling price is more than cost price by 1/7 basically means that selling price is after increasing this by 1 by 7. And if you increase something by 1 by 7, it becomes 1 plus 1 by 7, right? So what is 1 plus 1 by 7? It's going to be 8 by 7 of the cost price. This is what I used, right? So this is the shortcut knowledge that you have applied. Now we are implementing it here. Cost price is this, selling price is this, and this has told me a shortcut that simply go for the relation that selling price has to be 8 by 7 of the cost price. Now it is like simply solving a simple equation. Any problem now? So now you have to just solve it. So selling price is X and it is 8 by 7 of the cost price, which is 0.8x plus 600. Cross multiply, solve it. You will get your answer as 8,000. Anyone wants me to explain it again? Any problem with anyone? Okay, you all got the answer as 8,000? Have you all got the answer? Right, okay, let's move ahead. So let's just do a recap here. Because when you're applying it on questions of profit and loss, all right, let's just, you will have to answer it, okay? I'm not going to explain it unless you find it difficult. Suppose I say that I made a profit of 1 by 6 in a transaction, right? 1/6 is the fraction of my profit. What is the relation of SP and CP? What number do I use here in the fill in the blank? SP is how much of CP? That's correct. It is going to be 7 by 6 of CP. Very good. Now, if I end up making a loss of 1/6, then fill in this blank. That's very good. 5 by 6. So everyone clear with this shortcut? That is the shortcut that we used in the previous question. All right. Why? Because this concept of increasing something by 1 by 6 means 1 plus 1 by 6. Decreasing something by 1 by 6 means 1 minus 1 by 6 can be very nicely applied to profit loss situation. Why? Because in profit, you increase your cost price by this much to get your selling price. In loss, you decrease your cost price by this much to get your selling price. So that's how this concept is getting applied on profit and loss chapter. Everyone clear? All right. So now you will answer. Okay. Let me just undo that. Okay, tell me. 5 by 6 is a problem, right? So loss. Okay. Loss is 1 by 6. Right, Raja? So how do we incur a loss? Loss is incurred only when cost price is more than selling price, right? So your reference point is always cost price. That means your selling price was reduced. Why? Because selling price is less than cost price, right? So selling price was reduced so that you, okay, please try to keep yourself on mute. I'll explain again. So I said if loss is 1 by 6, right? Loss basically means that selling price is less than cost price. That means I always start from cost price to get the selling price. It has to be reduced. Why? Because selling price needs to be less than cost price. So I need to reduce my cost price to get selling price. Reduce by how much? 1 by 6. Reducing something by 1 by 6 means 1 minus 1 by 6. Did you join in late? Because we discussed this in the beginning of the session. Okay, so 1 minus 1 by 6 means 5 by 6. Now it's clear? Okay, now only that person will answer whom I'm going to ask. So, okay, Manisha, your chance. If profit is say 1 by 8, tell me this fill in the blank. What has to come here? Manisha. It's just that, yeah. Manisha, go ahead.
Okay, ma'am.
Profit is 1 by 8. So SP is how much of CP?
Mom, I don't know.
Why? I just explained it. Profit
Because
means,
this is my first class. I don't understand anything.
it's okay. You can try to catch up and you can definitely ask the doubt as many times as you want, right? Right? I could feel that. That is why I took your name. So profit is 1 by 8, right? Profit basically means what? Profit basically means, dear, selling price has to be more than the cost price. When do you have profit? When do you have profit? When you sell the thing for more than what you bought for. So selling price has to be more than cost price. By how much? 1 by 8. That means I have to increase the cost price to get the selling price. When you're increasing something,
Divided by 8.
yeah, so it has to be 9 by 8. Why? Because you have increasing something. So now just remember the shortcut. Whenever it is profit, this fill in the blank will be 1 plus this. Whenever it is loss, the fill in the blank will be 1 minus this. This much is easy.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I will not stop here. You will have to answer the next one. Okay, if the profit is 1 by 4, so selling price is dash of cost price. Tell me this fill in the blank now. Yes, that's correct. All of you who have written in the chat window. Manisha, I want the answer from you.
Uh,
I want you to learn
5,
it. So
5 divided by 4.
very good, very good. So now you will not say that you could not understand anything, right? So if it is lost, tell me the fill in the blank.
3
Yeah,
divided by 4.
very good, very good. You got it right. Okay, so we all are done with this, I think. Let's move ahead.
Well,
Right, try this question now. Is there anyone else who is still confused? Please do let me know. Hint is, we discussed in the beginning of the session, 33 1 by 3 looks a very complicated percentage, but it has a very simple fraction conversion, right? So Dev, again, answering your question. This question looks easier to do with fractions rather than these complicated percentages, right? So you get to know by looking at the question which method will work better for me. So 50% can be taken as 1 by 2, 33 1 by 3% can be taken as 1 by 3. I know all these percentages can be made very simple fractions to make it easy for me. All right, so Raja, that was a very quick answer from you. But be very careful about the order in which you mention the ratio. Whenever the question talks about ratio, you have to be very careful about the order. So Mr. Bhaskar has to be on the first place and Balram has to be at the second place. Right, Palak, that's correct. Okay, so everyone has given the correct answer. So let me just, yeah, so that was the only mistake you did, Raja. Otherwise, your answer was correct. Okay, let's look at the shortcut for this. Shortcut I've already explained. And the shortcut is the percentages can be made very simple fractions. So this one is obviously 1 by 2. This one is obviously 1 by 3. This one is again 1 by 2. This one is again 1 by 3, right? So their fractions are going to be more comfortable for me. And again, I'm going to re-emphasize on the same fact, that is increasing something by 1 by 3 will make it 4 by 3. Decreasing something by 1 by 3 will make it 2 by 3. Similarly, increasing something by 1 by 2 will make it, now you guys answer it. Increasing something by 1 by 2 will make it 3 by 2. That's correct. And decreasing something by 1 by 2 will make it 1 by 2, right? So keep this in mind while solving this question. All right. Anyone has any problem with this part? Because this is the backbone of the shortcut. Now let's start the question. Question was, Bhaskar's salary is increased by 50%. I need to have a reference point. Where do I start from? The entire question is running in percentages. And remember, the shortcut that I told you was, if your entire question runs in percentages, that's correct, Preeti, you must start with 100 rather than X. So I will start with taking Bhaskar's salary as 100 rupees. So I consider that Bhaskar's salary is originally 100. Now it is increased by 50%. So how much does it become now? 150. And then it is being decreased by 33, 1 by 3%. You are reducing it by 1 by 3. If you are reducing it by 1 by 3, yes, Diptesh, we could use that also. I'll come to that part again. If you reduce something by 1 by 3, it becomes 2/3 of this. So the next value will be 2/3 of this. So what is 2/3 of this going to be? 100 back. So his salary, after having an increase of 50% and then having a decrease of 33 1 by 3%, came down to 100 again. All right. So using fractions is coming out to be easier for us. Why? Because increasing something by 50% means what? We have to make it 3 by 2. So here I made it 3 by 2 and then I made it 2 by 3. Everyone clear with this? Right. Okay. Now let's go down to the other person, Balram. So Balram, after his salary was increased by 1 by 3, so whatever his original salary was, that itself is the what the question is asking for. But first his salary was increased by 1 by 3. So if something is increased by 1 by 3, it will be multiplied by 4 by 3 to get this value, right? And then it is decreased by 50%. If something is decreased by 50%, it will become half to get this new value. But I was told something very interesting in this question, that is the final salary. Final salary is same for both of them. The final salary is same as the final salary of Mr. Balram. So that means I know this number. I have to go back. This question is also making you understand a very important concept, that is backward approach. If from here to here you are dividing by 2, so from here to here you have to multiply by 2. So this missing number has to be 200. Similarly, if from here to here you are multiplying by 4 by 3, so to go back, I will have to multiply it by 3 by 4. So 3 by 4 will make it how much? Can you quickly tell me this answer? What is 3/4 of 200 going to be? That's correct. So it's going to be 150. So I got to know the original salary of Balram as 150. I took the original salary of Bhaskar as 100 rupees. The question was asking for Bhaskar's salaries ratio with Balram, the original ones. So the original ones were in the ratio 100:150, right? So simplify this ratio to get the right answer. Please do not make a mistake of finding the wrong order. That's going to be very sad for you that you solved the question entirely, but just while answering, you made a very silly mistake. All right. Ketan and Raja, I don't think that permission will be there with you, right? And we are anyways at the end of almost at the end of the session. Right. Any problem with this question? So this question has given you a lot of shortcuts being taken up as a mix. Converting percentages to fractions, managing with their increase and decrease, and then moving backward from a number. 3 shortcuts in one question. All right. Anyone has any doubts? Is this question clear to everyone? Because this question is a very nice question. It makes you understand 3 concepts in one go. Converting percentages to fractions, increase and decrease of fractions, and moving backward from a known number. All right, so I have a go ahead for this. Now, okay. So this is what you have to register in your mind. Be very clear with percentage increases and decreases. Now, let me just give you a little briefing of, how you should be preparing, because some of you are really struggling here with the basics, and some of you are already, kind of ahead of others. So that is a very crucial decision for you guys now, right? So whether it's your choice, whether you're going to join us or not, but be very careful about the fact that if your basics are not very clear at this moment, this is the last chance that you have, because just, you will have at the max 2 months from your side to be preparing, and starting from basics can definitely be managed, because the kind of sessions that we will be having, we'll be taking 45 live classes, right? So, okay. You created CAT'20 expert preparation WhatsApp group. All right. So, right, Dave, we can just let me finish what I have to share, and then you can definitely do what you wanted to share. Right. So, see, this preparation will go at a fast pace, but that does not mean that we will be expecting that you know everything. So it's a do or die situation now, right? It's now or never, because just 2 months to go. And Raja, I didn't get it. So all you have to, Raja, I didn't get your question. All right, so coming back to what we were discussing. So that is why we are going to take it on a fast track mode, so that, you will have 45 live classes in a 60 days duration. and the batch is going to start from 18th of September. So it is going to be a fast track mode course, but definitely starting from the very basics and taking you to the most advanced level questions, right? Raja, yes, of course. Right. So, okay, I'll show you the fees part also. So it will be covering 135 plus CAT and non-CAT mocks, right? And you will have sectional and area-wise test, and you will have a Telegram doubt discussion group also for yourself. So that's a very good advantage, because when you're solving questions, sometimes we get stuck at a doubt. For example, in today's class, right? Some of you were very good at it and some of you were really struggling with the basics. So the moment you have a doubt, that definitely stops your further growth, because you get stuck with that doubt. So Telegram discussion group will give you that freedom to post your doubts at whatever time you have, right? And you're studying at whatever time of the day, you can definitely post your doubts and somebody from our side will be there to respond back to you, right? So it's okay, Raja, not a problem at all. Right. So all these will be offered to you. And what you were asking about the fees, I will display that in the next slide. So one thing that I really want you guys, okay, it's not too late to start. I knew, Ketan, that is what I was about to say. Some of you will feel that it's too late to start now. It's not, okay? I'll just come back to that discussion. So this is the price which has been really slashed down for you. So you can avail the course at a very discounted price of 3,999 if you're interested, but you will have to mention the coupon code CAT'50C if you want to avail this discounted price. And I'm sharing a URL with you guys in the chat window. Can you see that? So that link you all can click later after the class, and you can see that it will give you all the details of the course, all the details of the classes and how it will be done. So this demo class was not with the concept that this topic is done for you. No, it was just an introduction to you that this is how the classes will be held for you. But yes, first the basics will be made extremely clear to you. The foundation will be laid down with all the shortcuts that we were using in today's class, right? So like the last question that we took, that had another way of solving that formula which I shared with you, P plus Q plus PQ by 100. So somebody I think mentioned also in the chat window, we could have solved that question with that shortcut also. So all the shortcuts will be discussed with you in the basic class, and then you will be exposed to these kind of advanced level questions where your knowledge will be tested, whether you are able to put those shortcuts to the right use or not. Okay. So Nikhil, I think that's what I was explaining, Nihit, what you were asking. So definitely this course will start from the very basic and it will take you to the advanced level question concept as also. All right. It's not that we are just going to stop with the basic questions, right? Right. So 35 advanced level. All right. So Nihit, I think I answered your question. So Dave, what I'll suggest is you definitely, you definitely check this link later and you will get all the answers to your queries. But otherwise, you can definitely get in touch with us also, right? So that is also available, Dave. That is also there. So if you have any confusion in which one to join, you can definitely decide depending upon where you stand. Right, Dave? So we can help you out and you can definitely get in touch with us regarding your selection of which one to join. Now, coming back to the timings of the class, most probably what is mentioned on the website when you will click on this link is mentioned as 9 to 10:30 p.m. Keeping in mind that some of you are working professionals. So, but the timings can be looked at. It can be made as a weekend batch or a weekday batch. All that can be talked about with the admin team. So when you get in touch with the admin team, you can definitely put up your request, right? So now coming back to, somebody has asked, is it too late to start your preparation? No, it's not. But I must tell you that this is the last chance. This is definitely a now or never situation, because after this, you will not be in a position to actually prepare well. And strategizing CAT exam is also very important, right? Just studying and finishing the syllabus is not the end of job of preparing for CAT. You have to, in the end, understand that what topics you are really good at. So for that, you'll have to have time to take mocks also, right? So this is the time that you can start, because after this it will be definitely too late. So Palak, it is starting on 18th of September, right? So I think I'll take you back. Yeah, it's a crash course for all three, right? Not just for quant, right? So it is for obviously the entire CAT preparation, which covers DI, quant, and verbal. All three sections will be covered, right? So Manisha, to answer your question, CAT is definitely a higher level preparation, which anyways covers all other exams. And all other exams, if they have a specific requirement, like XAT has a specific requirement of DM. So we do take up that into consideration in the form of a workshop. But definitely CAT is the highest level preparation. If you are preparing for CAT, you are anyways prepared for other exams also, right? Palak, GMAT has little difference. So we do have GMAT courses also, right? We have GMAT batches also. If you're specifically interested in GMAT, then you can join that batch. Otherwise, CAT will make you very good at certain topics of GMAT, but verbal is little different. And for that, you can decide again looking at the course. But otherwise, yes, CAT is the highest level preparation, right? If you're preparing for CAT, you're almost done for GMAT as well. But definitely, GMAT has some specific requirements. Okay, we will give access to pre-recorded concept videos. Yes, Nihit, you will be given, yeah, so you will be having all these live lectures recorded if you wanted me to answer that, right? So Palak, yeah, you can just visit the website, the URL which I just shared with you guys. You can visit that website and you can definitely find a contact number there. Just on the top screen only, you will see a number there, right? So you can get in touch with through that number. Okay, Palak? Right, so just click on that link and you will see a number right on the top of the screen. Dave, I think you can take that decision again. You really need to get in touch with our admin team and decide on that. But yes, you actually scroll through. Yeah, you go through the link and then you decide for yourself. I think, Dave, that will make more sense for you. So I think it will be better to have a clarity over a call. That will help you better to decide. Okay, Dave? Right. Any more doubts, guys? So don't be scared. I just took up some questions here, which some of you would have found very easy. Some of you would have found it a little difficult, and some of you would have found it impossible to handle. Doesn't matter at all. With the classes, with the information, with the basic background, everyone will be able to cope up, right? And all those who were finding it very easy, definitely you will have advanced sessions to cover up the advanced level questions also. Okay. Yes, definitely, Diksha. Nobody stops you from doing that. You can definitely appear for both. Palak, we have not even started with the classroom sessions yet, right? So everything is online. So if you have, yeah, so if you want to catch up with an old batch, you can definitely go through the recordings of the lectures, right? But otherwise, the fresh batch is going to start from 18th of September for the crash course. Right, Palak? All right. Even if you have any slightest of doubts left, I would prefer that you please definitely check that link and make a call on that number, which is displayed on the website. You will have all your queries answered. All right. Thank you so much, Raja. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Palak. Okay. Thank you, Shruti. So this brings me to the end of the session. Keep preparing well. And if you have not even started yet, this is the right time to start. Otherwise, it will be too late for you, right? So start it right now and give it your best shot. I'm sure you all will be successful. All right. Take care. Good night.